5 things narcissists do when you go no contact. You ready? Let's go. Hey friends, Tamie M, Joyce here, empowerment life coach, creator of the Freedom class and the Ascension class. And if you're new to my channel, welcome. Please take a second to say hello and introduce yourself in the comment section below. And if you're back, of course, welcome back. Thanks for showing up and for tuning in. Either way, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. So let's talk about the 5 things that narcissists do when you finally decide it's time to go full-blown no contact. Number 1, the narcissist is going to gather the troops. That's right. The very first thing the narcissist is going to do when you go no contact is they will work to get everyone they can on their team, literally, even your friends and family. They'll run as quickly as they can to anyone who will listen, including, of course, all of their own little minions and spineless little enablers, as well as anyone closely connected to you who will bother to listen to them. When you go no contact, you can count on the fact that the narcissist is going to be working overtime, calling in the allies, holding court, and saying whatever it takes to manipulate and control not only their perception of you, but also the generally accepted narrative. So be prepared for this up front. When you get serious about setting boundaries with a destructive narcissist, when you shut the door entirely and for real, the narcissist is going to make gathering the troops and collecting allies their full-time job. The purpose of all of this, of course, is to get everyone to agree on just how awful you are and what a victim they are. No matter how much evidence to the contrary, they will hone in on any little thing they can and make stuff up as they go, whatever it takes, including telling everyone that you did or said all the terrible things that they did in reality and said. And your job in all of this is to get your self-esteem to a place where you don't care at all. Now, I'm not saying this is easy or that it's not going to hurt when this happens to you. What I'm saying is that's the direction you've got to be heading in if you want to break free and heal from these painful relationship patterns in a real and lasting way. Make that your goal. Get yourself to a place where your opinion of yourself is the one that matters most. You know who you are. You know exactly what you've lived, what you've done, what you haven't done, and why. Let that be enough. And all of their little stories, false narratives, distorted perception, and lies by omission, along with whoever chooses to believe the nonsense without giving you the benefit of the doubt or the benefit of a conversation, it all has to not matter at all. And the truth is, it's quite likely that you are not a perfect human being and you haven't always done things perfectly or gotten it right. Meaning, in response to being targeted, betrayed, abandoned, abused, harmed, and hurt in all kinds of ways, you may very likely have done and said some things you'd absolutely do or say differently if you were given an opportunity for a do-over. Welcome to the human race on planet Earth. Such is the place we find ourselves in when we've been deeply hurt by narcissistic perpetrators. Here's the thing. Narcissists will quite deliberately hurt, harm, instigate, and provoke just so they can trigger an emotional reaction and then point the finger at you. It's called reactive abuse. And if you want to learn more about how narcissists use reactive abuse to gaslight you in this fashion, you can watch this video here. Now, the next thing that narcissists are going to do when you establish no contact is go out of their way to flaunt a new source of supply in front of you, whether that be in person, around the neighborhood, in social media, wherever. Narcissists aren't just energy vampires. They are also very parasitic and codependent in nature. You are not the only codependent in the relationship dynamic with the narcissist, I promise you. Narcissists are highly codependent in addition to being very parasitic. They need another person to target, manipulate, use, abuse, and exploit. They need someone they can project all of their garbage onto. So when you establish no contact, what the narcissist is going to do is either circle back to an ex or any other source of supply they have access to and hoover them back in. And if they can't do that, they'll go looking for a new source of supply and very quickly enmesh with that new supply and then proceed to flaunt their new source all over town, all over social media, in the hopes of getting a reaction out of you. Let's not forget, narcissists tend to be incredibly envious. These are people who carry a lot of jealousy. And in their distorted perception of reality, they project all of their own stuff onto their chosen target, which in this case is you. So they're automatically going to assume that you are wired the same way they are. They're green with envy. They're very jealous by nature. So according to the narcissist, you must be too. So they're flaunting this new source of supply, or an old source of supply. Any source of supply will do, not only so they can get their sick narcissistic needs met, but more importantly, so that they can hurt you in the process. Make no mistake, this is absolutely deliberate on their part. In addition, according to the narcissist and their twisted perception of reality, this obviously serves as evidence that you were the one who was the problem in the relationship. If they're in the process of hooking up with someone else and all is well in Never Never Land, according to them, it's clear that you were the one who was the issue to begin with. That's the game being played around all of this, which is why it's a really good idea when you go no contact, if you're able. You don't need to be randomly and unexpectedly punched in the heart with images on social media or anywhere else for that matter. So when you do it right. And if that means that you don't go to the same places for a little while so that you can avoid bumping into the narcissist and their new supply, so be it. Do what you need to do. This isn't about what's fair and what's right or wrong. Leave your ego out of it and love yourself enough to take care of yourself and sidestep all the nonsense. If you're going to go no contact, like I said, do it right. Block them across all platforms. So when they're working really, really hard to flaunt that new source of supply, you're oblivious, immune, and therefore you aren't unnecessarily affected because you're taking care of yourself. Be smart. Number 3, hoovering. The next thing to expect if you've been able to maintain no contact for any length of time is the hoovering tactic. The narcissist employs this hoovering tactic in an attempt to suck you back into the abuse cycle. And being prepared in advance is the thing that will save you all kinds of pain when the time comes. And here's the thing, friends. There is no time limit on the hoover. I have personally experienced a number of hoovering attempts after quite literally a decade of no contact with various narcissistic perpetrators from my past. These folks are relentless and lazy. Meaning, it's easier for the narcissist to circle back to an ex 10 years after the fact than it is to go out and do the work of finding a new source of narcissistic supply, which, by the way, is the primary reason why they hoover. They're looking for supply, someone to exploit, nothing more. Now, comment below and tell me whether or not you've had this experience. Let me know in the comment section below. And if you'd like to learn more about the possibility of working with me in one of my coaching programs, there's a link in the description below this video where you can apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team. Now, if they're able to get a foot in the door and succeed with their hoovering attempts, the very next thing coming down the pike for you is lug bombing. This is where we begin the narcissistic abuse cycle all over again, especially if there's been some time and distance. So be clear, this is exactly what is going on. You are being sucked right back into the toxic abuse cycle where it begins with you being idealized before being devalued, which is coming for sure, count on it, and then the ultimate discard. Suddenly they begin to morph into that person that you needed them to be to begin with back when you were being abused before you went no contact. Now all of a sudden they're on their best behavior and they're doing all the right things and saying all the right things, and suddenly they figured out how to apologize. Suddenly they can show up on time and act as if they're like actually decent, kind human beings. As if they really care. And they're making all kinds of empty promises and future faking to the degree that you're willing to fall for the nonsense. And if you've been white knuckling it through the no contact phase, you are quite literally going to get high on the nonsense. And the truth is, this is all very temporary, their best behavior. This will be a very short-lived phase, meaning a few months at best. So understand that if you have not maintained firm, non-negotiable, absolutely unapologetic no contact while also having gotten into your own healing and recovery work, and they've gotten a foot in the door, and now you're on the receiving end of their best efforts to love bomb you, the whole cycle starts all over again. So think long and hard before you decide to start falling for their words, the sudden shift into a whole new person who wasn't able to show up before, but suddenly now is more motivated for whatever reason. Reasons that probably have nothing to do with you, and certainly nothing to do with your well-being. Now, if their hoovering and love bombing attempts don't work, if they aren't successful, here's what you can expect. They will lay in waiting, literally bide their time patiently, waiting for an opportunity to exploit you at your weakest. And it's almost eerie how the narcissist can choose their timing, which again is why it's so vital that we do the real healing and recovery work to break free from these dysfunctional patterns. Even when we go no contact, there are invisible energetic cords between us and those we're trauma bonded to, which is one of the benefits of embarking on a serious healing and recovery journey. When we do the right work, these cords get severed permanently. But the point being, if they can't succeed in hoovering and love bombing you and pulling you back, they'll wait for the opportunity to exploit you when you're at your weakest and most vulnerable. And somehow they seem to have the ability to know when the timing is right, like some sort of sixth sense. When you're faltering in your determination, when for whatever reason you're not feeling very strong, maybe you've had a crisis or you've lost a loved one or experienced some kind of misfortune. Given the chance, they'll use this as an opportunity to swoop in and again, exploit you and that opportunity for their own benefit. So be aware that just because you haven't heard from them in a few weeks or a few months or even a few years, this does not mean that they aren't hovering, waiting for an opportunity, waiting for that time when they are able to catch you with your guard down when you least expect it. That's why it's so important to be doing our work, friends. When you're suffering or hurting or struggling in any way, if they can seize an opportunity to exploit you when you're weak and vulnerable, they will do that. You can count on it. And on that note, I'm going to call it a wrap. But before I go, you should know the Ascension class is open for enrollment. Now, this isn't for everyone. This is for you if you're ready and able to invest in yourself. You're ready to shift your identity, master the law of attraction, heal your relationship with money, and put a full stop end to the limiting beliefs and self-sabotaging behaviors that are holding you back and preventing you from living your best life. If you're ready to reinvent yourself from the inside out, create your dream life by design, and finally become the you that you were always meant to be, click the link in the description below this video to apply to see if you qualify for a free one-on-one consultation with either myself or a member of my team.